kapatid, sa araw na ito, ipagpapatuloy natin ang ating pagninilay sa pananampalataya at filosofiya. Kasama natin ngayon ang Toro family.
Ako'y tahimik lang sa umpisa, kahit di mo ko pilitin. Malasin mo lang ako agad sasama, kahit di mo ko akitin. Meron ka bang lemon? Gusto ko tequila. Pagtapos ko mag-shot, sipsipin mo aking dila.
Andito lang ako kasi hinatak ako ni ate at ni Mami Oni. Kasi naman, anong point kung meron naman ding scientific ways na uma-approve sa mga pinagsasabi nila dyan?
Anak ka ng tipaklong? Ikaw, paye ha? Nandito tayo, nakakahiya kay Padre, umayos ka nga. Nandito nga tayo para magkaroon ng perspective sa religion. Ikaw talaga.
Guys, wait lang. What if papagsalitain muna natin si Father at saka si Zainab, the seminarian, di ba?
Ayan, salamat Miss Papi. Para talakayin ang mahalagang argumento ukol sa Diyos mula kay Saint Anselm at Saint Thomas Aquinas. Welcome to the Word Exposed! With Gamborze. Ako po si Father Gamugam.
I am Father Burgis.
And I'm Zainab! So what's up, Zebis? I'm with Father Burgess and Father Gamu-Gamu nga kasi for the seminar ako today. So ang context natin ngayon ay Gomborze. Oh, diba? Tapos excited na rin ako matuto sa kanila. So without further kaek-ekan, isang arap na!
So, the ontological argument ni Saint Anselm is super interesting, right? Anselm defines God as a being than which nothing greater can be conceived. Basically, if you can imagine the greatest possible being, that being is God and He must exist. Kasi, kung hindi siya nag-e-exist, you could imagine a greater being who does exist, and that would be a contradiction. Genius, right?
And so, I'm excited to share with you a fascinating idea from one of the great minds of our faith, Saint Anselm, a monk and a bishop who lived long ago in the year 1033 to 1109. He's known for many things, but one of his most intriguing contributions is something called the ontological argument for the existence of God. Now don't let the big words scare you. Let's break it down together. First, let's start with the definition of God. Saint Anselm tells us that God is a being than which nothing greater can be conceived. What does that mean? It means that God is the greatest possible being, the most perfect existence imaginable. Now here's where it gets interesting. Anselm argues that if we can conceive of such a perfect being, God, then that being must exist in reality, not just in our minds. Why? Because if God only existed in our understanding, we could imagine a greater being. One that exists in both our minds and in reality. And that would contradict our definition of God. Alright, let's put it in simple terms, shall we? Imagine a painter dreaming of a beautiful painting. In their mind, that painting exists. But until they put the brush to the canvas, it doesn't exist in reality. Now, if God were only a concept in our minds, we could think of a greater being, one that actually exists. But since God is defined as the greatest being, He must exist in both mind and reality. Now, Anselm also tackles what he calls the fool's argument. refers to the fool from Psalm chapter 14, verse 1, who says, "There is no God." But here's the twist. Even that fool must understand the concept of God when they hear it. Now they may deny his existence, but the idea is still there in their mind, so they can't truly conceive of God not existing. Because if they could, then God would be the greatest being. Now overall, let us recap. Anselm says that God's existence is necessary. Think about it. If God is perfect, it's impossible to conceive of a perfect being that does not exist. If we can think of something that can be greater, then that wouldn't be God. This brings us to the big question. Can understanding God's nature come purely from reason, or do we need faith as well? Anselm believes that we must first believe to understand it. Thus, Anselm believes to understand. His words remind us that faith and reason can walk hand in hand.
Oh my God, ang labo. Ano yun? Parang make-believe na lang, ganon.
Right? Parang sobrang complicated naman. Pwede bang chill lang tayo?
Ikaw, babae, papa-exercise ko yung kartehan sa katawan mo nang malaman mo.
Aray!
Ang sinasabi ni Saint Anselm dito ay ang Diyos ay hindi lang isang ideya na naiisip natin kung hindi isang realidad. Parang ganito ba? Kung ang Diyos ay naiisip lang natin, ibig sabihin ay mayroon pang mas higit sa Kanya na talagang tunay o totoo. At dahil ang Diyos ay ang pinakadakilang maaaring maisip, kailangan niya talagang mag-exist.
Oo na. Si Saint Anselm, meron siyang tinatawag na the fool's argument. Sa Psalm chapter 14 verse 1, sabi doon, ano bang sinabi doon?
Kasi nga ba the fool says in his heart na there is no God nga, di ba? Pero kahit daw ang fool, kapag narinig niya ang konsepto ng Diyos, na gigets siya pa rin na parang a being than which nothing greater can be conceived, di ba? So naiintindihan niya pa rin na kahit i-deny niya to, na nandyan siya. Ito talaga si Paeo, talaga.
So ayun, what's up, Zebis, for the seminar ako ngayon. Pero ayun, back to the topic nga, Father. Para kasing aside sa book ni Anselm, may nabasa pa ako noon Ano ba yon? Parang book ata ni Aquinas, specifically yung 5 ways niya. Kasi marami siyang pinapatunayan doon sa book niya na yon patungkol sa Diyos. Pero hindi raw ito limited sa Christian God lang, ha? It's about proving na mayroong higher being na may kagagawa ng lahat ng ito. Tapos, since 5 ways nga siya, malamang may 5 pamamaraan siya na patunay na totoo talaga ang Diyos. Yun nga lang, ang tanda ko lang doon na confident ako i-share yung first and second way lang kasi baka iba na masabi ko, tapos mabash pa tayo. Anyways, highways, ang first way niya nga, Father, is about the argument from the motion. Siyempre, di ba, para mas maintindihan natin ng maayos, himayin muna natin yung topic. Kasi alam naman natin na ang motion ay ang paggalaw ng mga bagay mula sa isang lugar hanggang sa isa pa. For example, yung 3 sorts of accidental changes ni Aristotle na change of location, change in quality, at saka changes in quantity, na sinasabi ni Aquinas daw na lahat ng changes that happens in one of this way is being changed by someone else. Oh, di ba? And then that someone else naman daw is either it changes itself or it remains changeless. O diba, pakak? The only exception sa motto na change is inevitable. Charing!
Kahit ano pa yan, ano bang connect niyan sa akin?
My God! Kung ikwento na yung sinasabi niyo tungkol sa first mover ni Aquinas ba yun? Nang matapos na to, dalihan mo na.
Teka kasi, Mi, Oni at saka Paye. Wala pa tayo dyan. Napapressure tuloy ang influencer na to. Huy! Anyways, pupunta rin tayo dyan. Huwag kayong excited. Back to the topic muna tayo. Basta, ina-argue rito ni Aquinas sa first way na everything that moves is being moved by another para nga raw magkaroon ng motion. Like, oo nga naman, di ba? Paano gagalaw ang isang bagay kung walang nagpo-push? Or yung sinasabi mo nga ni Oni, ito na, yung first mover. Sabi nga rin doon na in order to affect the motion daw, you need to turn that potentiality to actuality. For example, gamitin natin yung word na hot. So sa actuality, ano ba ang hot na bagay? Siyempre, ayan na yung apoy or fire. Tapos, ang potentiality naman natin na maging hot ay ang wood. So, paano ba natin matuturn ang wood na actuality? Pwede na paapoyin natin yung kahoy gamit ang apoy, so it will alter that piece of wood then boosh. Potentiality to actuality. So, diba, if marirealize natin, everything that changes is caused by someone else. But do note na yung series of change, hindi siya pwedeng maging infinite. Kasi hindi mo na matutukoy kung sino ba yung first mover. So, walang motion na magta-take place. Sa madaling salita, ang first mover na tinutukoy dito sa first way ni Aquinas ay si God. Grabe! Lumalabas pagka-yapper ko dito ha. Ang sabi, seminar lang. Anyway, bago ko makalimutan, may second way pa pala.
Alam mo pa kaysa kumatak ka ng kumatak dyan, manahimik ka na lang,
Bakit parang kasalanan ko? Anyway, hayaan mo, mas lalo ka pang may inis dahil nasa second way pa lang tayo. Ayun nga, diba? Ito na, mamadaliin ko na. Yung second way nga ni Aquinas, it talks about the argument from causation. Diba? Hindi ko rin alam kung bakit ba nagbida-bida pa ako kina Father para i-discuss to. Kasi title pa lang dumudugo na yung ilong ko. Anyways, itong pangalawa nga, it just focuses on the ordered series of efficient causation. So, ano muna ba yung efficient causation? Sabi dito, it is the one that produces something or an alteration in something. For example, yung fire. It is the efficient cause of the heating of the kettle. Ibig sabihin, ang efficient cause ay parang siya yung dahilan kung bakit may pagbabago na nangyayari sa isang bagay. Tapos nga, meron din tayong tinatawag na ordered series of efficient cause, kung saan, ayun nga, ituloy natin yung example sa fire. If the fire hits the kettle and the kettle hits the water, nakikita natin doon yung ordered series na nangyari. Pero syempre, kahit na ordered series nga yan, dapat may first cause pa rin para magkaroon ng motion. Diyan nga pumapasok na an object cannot be an efficient cause of itself because for every ordered series, may tinatawag tayong first cause, intermediate cause, and yung last effect. Kaya imposible talaga siya. Aside from that, hindi rin pwedeng magkaroon ng infinite ordered series. Dahil yes, may input ka nga, pero hindi mo naman matutukoy kung alin doon ang first, intermediate, pati na yung last effect since infinity nga siya. That's why in his second way, Aquinas argues that in order to have an efficient cause, there must be a being who will posit or will make a change sa first cause. And that being is the one we call God. Ayan, grabe. Yan lang yung tanda ko sa book ni Aquinas na 5 ways. Pero tama naman yung sinasabi ko dito, di ba, Father Burgess?
So far, tama naman lahat ng sinasabi mo from the first way up until sa second way. I did not expect na may ganitong knowledge kasi.
So, sinasabi mo ba, Father, na hindi natin may iwasang aminin na may dahilan kung bakit gumagalaw ang lahat?
Exactly, Papi. Saka hindi lang motion, pati sa causation. You know, like when you cook, hindi mo magagawa ang adobo kung walang apoy, walang kawali. Lahat ng cause na ito leads to a first cause, ang Diyos. So kahit na hindi ako naniniwala, naiintindihan ko pa rin siya?
Oo, Paye. Omsim, kapag narinig mo ang konsepto ng Diyos, naiintindihan mo siya kahit hindi ka naniniwala. At dahil naiintindihan mo na ang Diyos ay ang pinakamataas na nilalang, maiisip mo na siya ay hindi pwedeng hindi totoo.
You are right, Father Gamu-Gamu. Just like the third way of Aquinas, the argument from possibility and necessity. Nag-explain siya dito na some things we find in this world are able to exist and able not to exist. Pero some things still need to be generated or corrupted before they are able to exist or able not to exist. But there is no way na everything ay mag-undergo through this because when it fails to exist, it becomes able not to exist. Therefore, if everything is able not to exist, then nothing really exists or existed in the world. Diba it is common sense that what does not exist will only exist in something that is existing. Therefore, it is impossible for anything to exist if there were no beings. Kapag we look naman sa cause ng existence of something, it will lead us to the unending, the cause of, the cause of, the cause of, the cause of, the blah 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 blah. So not everything has the ability to exist or mag-fail to exist. Instead, there must be a necessity for anything in this world. And dito na papasok ang concept natin of God.
Oh my God! Alam mo, anak ko ng tipaklong. Alam mo, puro kayo philosophical kausap. Ano? Ano yan? Paano ba yan sa totoong buhay, ha? May silbi ba yan? Papakain ba ako niyan, ha?
Mami Oni, think about this. In gradation, there are things na mas mabuti, mas totoo, mas noble than others. You compare things, right? Like, mas mabait si Tony kaysa kay Paye. Hoy! And if there's something mas mabuti, mas totoo, then there must be something that is the most true, most good, and that is God. Yan naman ang one sabihin ni Aquinas sa fourth way, the argument of gradation. When we look around us, we can see the existence of a higher power often called God. So, what's the power He's holding back? Diba we all know na there is mas sa lahat ng bagay. Mas mabait, mas honest, mas totoo. It then explains that these things are closer or further away from the perfect example of that quality. So, there must also be a perfect example of truth, goodness, and nobility. And this perfect example is the highest being we call God. Perfect na perfect. Highest being equals to God. Perfect being equals to God. Pero nagme-make sense na sa akin lahat ng sinasabi nila, Father, in fairness. I am glad to hear that, Paye. Pero it doesn't end there. Meron pa siyang last argument, the fifth way or the argument from the governance. Ano naman yan, Father? May kinalaman ba yan sa politika? Akala ko bang pinag-uusapan natin ay tungkol kay God? Oo, it is still about God. Ito, let me explain it to you. Sa fifth way, Aquinas argues that natural things act towards a specific end or goals. And once we act, yung mga behavior na ginagawa natin, dapat diba iniisip natin na ito yung best na ginagawa natin, which is then guided by something that has cognition and intelligence. And ang endpoint, ano o sino ulit ang being na ito? Si God. To put it into simple words, Toro family, third way explains the existence of everything came from God. Fourth way, God is the perfect being. And fifth way, we are guided by something that has cognition and intelligence, and we call that director God.
Yes, kumbaga, God is the source ng lahat ng buhay at perfection na we can ever think of.
Mga kapatid, ang pananampalataya ay hindi lamang isang bagay na iniisip natin, kundi isang bagay na naiintindihan natin sa pamamagitan ng pagsasaliksik at pagninilay. Kagaya na lamang ni Saint Anselm at Saint Thomas Aquinas, ginagamit natin ang ating isip upang mas maunawaan ang Diyos. At sa bandang huli, ito ay nagpapatibay ng ating pananampalataya.
Okay, sige. Oh my God, oo nga, may sense naman pala si Anselm tsaka si Aquinas, ano. Pero sige, I'll spread the word, Father, kasi kahit tahimik lang ako sa umpisa, di mo naman ako kailangan pilitin dyan.
Pero hindi ako magpapakarelihiyoso chill lang. Of course, no pressure. Pero next time, baka magka-interest ka na rin.
My dear brothers and sisters, mga kapatid, patuloy natin pagsikapan ang pag-unawa at pagmamahal sa Diyos gamit ang isip at puso hanggang sa susunod na word exposed. Ako po si Father Gamu-Gamu. Nagpapaalala, ang Diyos ay laging naririto.
May the word of God find fulfillment in your life.
May His blessing be always upon you. See you next Sunday here on the Word Exposed.